Hey Joseph, what's up, man? Um, how long you been out on the streets?
I've been out on the street since I was 27.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Houston, Texas.
From where?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, Houston, Texas. So how'd you end up out on the streets?
Ended up out on the street. I lost my job in Nacogdoches, Texas after my dad committed suicide. I moved out there with my brother. And so I became homeless at that point, and I haven't been able to get back indoors very often. So I just been living in the tents and living out of my car until I sold my car, and then I moved to New Braunfels to try to get some help over there because it was a bigger town and they had more resources, and I knew some people there. And then I got injured really bad over there. I got like life-threatening wounds on my legs, prevented me from working, and I was under the camping ban over there, and it was very hard to live there for 3 years. But I worked on and off, and I tried to get in the hotels when I could and try to work when I could, but then my wounds were getting so bad that I had to stop working all entirely. And it was bad to work because of cross-contamination and stuff like that, and certain areas are further and further injury that can make me worse. And I finally convinced the hospital to send me to Austin back in 2017, and they got a cab and they sent me out there because I convinced them of the MAP card that was available in the homeless shelter. So I was living there in the homeless shelter for about a year and a half, and I did the coordinated assessment when I was in there, and I scored a high score. But then like a year and a half, I was about to get called up to be in housing, but at that time I was frustrated with the arch because of disease and the mental illness and the bed bugs and all that. I just left, took all my money I saved up, and then decided to live in a hotel and try to work, make my way into the system on my own for a while. And it wasn't until I say about during the last major winter storm, I took a new coordinated assessment, and it was through a woman, Stephanie Ortega.
And who did she work for?
She worked for Integral Care. She was doing outreach for the homeless.
Okay.
And I did the API there, and she said I had a very low score, which didn't make any sense because I was chronically homeless.
Do you know what the API stands for?
It's I think Austin Prioritization Index. I believe
Austin
so.
Prioritization Index.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, I read into it because I was kind of curious why I had a low score. And I read into it. They say that they judge based off of race, gender, and sexuality. And the API is based off of whether you're in immediate danger or not, based off of your race, gender, or sexuality.
Really?
So I went to confront her about this, and I said, well, this is discriminatory, because like in the website, they're basically saying that they're waging war against cis white men within the homeless services.
Uh-huh.
And so I confronted her, and I showed her the webpage. It's like, and she told me, it's discriminatory. She understood it was discriminatory, but she started to defend the actual API system, talking about, well, the people of color have generational poverty and all this stuff, and that's why they score a higher score. And I'm like, well, that gender has nothing to do with poverty.
Well, yeah, that's so, not to interrupt you. So that's what's puzzles me, because I would think at our lowest level of the economy, which would be our homeless population,
Yeah.
I would think that color, religion, culture is excluded from the judgment of that, because pretty sure as Americans, we're supposed to be looking at this as humans in need of help,
Yeah.
not white, black, Hispanic, whatever else. Yeah. I'm sorry they did that, but go ahead, continue, man.
Yeah, so I confronted her about it. She was defending the API, and I told her, well, this is racism, trying to fight racism. It's nonsensical, and she understood that, but she still continued to defend it because I guess she was trained with woke talking points on how to defend it. And it made me very upset. It made me feel like I had no hope to get into housing. But also, none of it is discriminatory in the sense of the race and gender and sexuality. It's also discriminatory in how much they give you. So not only does it discriminate because I'm white, but they also say she also kind of was a whistleblower, but at the same time defending it.
Right.
She was saying that because you're white, you only get maybe a couple months assistance, but if you have color, you'll get permanent vouchers.
Huh.
So the money that's allocated to everybody that's non-white is way more than what white people can get. So basically, they're saying, we'll kind of help you a little bit, but then you're on your own.
Yeah.
But everybody else, they get permanent housing vouchers. They can have rent for a year or two, whatever, how long, depending on the funds.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I talked to other people of color about these vouchers, and they had vouchers ready for them, but they didn't want to take them.
Right.
They were too busy trying to have fun and do drugs, and they didn't want the responsibility.
Uh-huh.
So I don't understand that. It's like, if I had that opportunity, I'll take it. But it's like,
Yeah.
but the old system, when I was in 2017, it was based off of merit. It was based off of, it wasn't discriminatory. It's like, if you wanted to help yourself, we're willing to help you. But back then, because they're saying that the old system was racist, but it wasn't. I've seen more people of color receive housing back then than white people. But the thing is, it's just a matter of culture, but also a matter of the habits of the people. Because like in front of the arch, everybody wanted to either smoke K2 or they wanted to be on crack.
You said that was the arch?
Yeah, that was back in 2017 and 2018. But those who wanted to go through the system and work hard and get themselves out, they could have gotten out, whether you're white, homosexual, whatever. But it's just a matter of motivation and what's your priorities.
Right.
Most of the people of color in that area that they focused on was their priorities was just getting high and having fun and drinking. That's all it was. But there's a good portion of black people and Hispanic people and Asian people and white people that went through the system and actually got help in housing. Because the whole point was to bring you back into normal society, because we get so used to and caught up or institutionalized as a homeless person,
right,
that you get so used to the lifestyle that it's hard to transition out. So that program helped for those who are willing to go through the system and just kind of like bite the bullet and deal with all the nonsense around you.
Right.
And those who have a strong will were able to get housing either through DAC or through the actual the coordinated system, point system. And but you don't see that no more.
Yeah.
And like almost everybody around here, where I am, it's all white, and they've came out here like in 2021, 2022, ECHO came out here and they did a survey to try to get federal grants. And
I believe that's the pit count. It's a point in time count, I believe.
I think I researched that, yeah. And the thing is, they never gave a percentage of how many white people are in Austin.
Yeah.
They'll give a percentage of every other race and sexuality, whatever, but they never ever say how many white people are actually homeless in Austin.
Yeah, this is really interesting, your story you're telling, because I've housed people in Texas pretty much since the year. I've been working in the homeless industry since 2019. I started in Houston, and I housed people in camps and on the streets in Houston for about 2 to 3 years. I saw a little bit of some grading like that, but not the way I've seen it here in Austin. And I will house any and everyone. If there were no homeless human beings here to house and we just had to house dogs, I would house dogs. I don't care. And I find it really disturbing that this process and this program and system of housing first, I guess it should say housing first, disclaimer, depending on your race, which is shocking.
It is, because it didn't used to be that way.
Right.
Everybody had equal opportunity. Now it's all about equity, and when it comes to equity, you have to discriminate in order to bring somebody else up, and it's just wrong. I'm like, everybody should have an equal opportunity if they're willing to work hard and to get funding and put themselves in a more stabilized position in order to stay stabilized.
Yeah.
But with everything that's going on right now, on top of ECHO, discriminating, and all these churches and all these other third-party organizations using their API system, it's not helping.
Right.
And then you have the camping ban now, and that makes it more stressful because now it's violating my Eighth Amendment because it's cruel and unnatural punishment that I can't even get housing as a white person, and then I have freaking sorry, I'm getting emotional, but then I have the camping ban, and then cops coming in displacing us, and then Heal doesn't even come out. Heal is for the Northbridge and Southbridge Hotel, and they don't even come out to encampments. You have to endanger yourself for them to be willing to come out and help you.
Right.
It's like, but if we create encampments, then we get displaced or we get threatened with jail or fines by the police under the camping ban. So it's like, it's just this big turmoil of emotion. It's like I can't get help because of my race. I can't get help from anybody. Heal doesn't even come out, and it's very frustrating. If you know,
I understand, man. I see it. I see it in you as you explain it. It's hard, and it's inexcusable, and I would say unacceptable to even bring race and color into this type of crisis. I can say firsthand from my experience in Texas, from Houston to Austin, that, you know, most of the folks, I would say 80% as a whole, 75 to be conservative, yeah, we're mostly, you know, white folks, and it didn't matter to me either way. I'd house anyone. But what I started to notice over the years as I looked at these point rating indexes was, you know, I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, aren't we just supposed to house anyone? Isn't this supposed to be a humanitarian effort here? And you know, I wasn't quite sure. It was one of the things that drove me out of the industry. And, you know, you could be anybody right now in front of me. And whatever your issue is, I would strive to get this to the community so that you can get housed. You know, another person I might interview could be, you know, considered or categorized as a minority female. And there's some other glitch in there. And the problem is that I think what we're facing is this intersectional car crash, like I like to call it, political car crash, of equality versus, or equity versus equal opportunity. Sounds like an oxymoron. Well, I also felt like I was working in an oxymoron myself perpetually. So, yeah, that's just to bounce off my piece of it, but you can continue. Do you have family here?
I have no family. My brother, my blood brother lives in Georgia. He's Navy. He's a Master Chief Commander now, or actually Master Chief. He chose not to be the commander because he doesn't want to do U-boats no more.
Yeah.
And now he's just trying to, like, you know, do his just job and try to get his pension and then get out.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
But I do have military in the family, so. But I'm pretty much by myself in Texas here, so.
Yeah. What are your hopes, man?
My hopes is to be able to stabilize and get into housing, but I need help with that because, like, between my schizoaffective disorder, it's hard to get an actual job that I can not get kicked out of because, like, I hear voices, and I also have memory issues because of the distractions going on, and so it's very hard to stabilize in a job. That's why I'm under SSDI right now.
Yeah.
But even with that, it's not enough with the inflation and everything going on. So there's, like, inflation, then you have, you know, the camping ban now that's making it frustrating, and then you have Echo being racist, and then you have Heal that doesn't come out unless you're endangered. And I've been shot at out here, so it's like, and also the API system is based off of immediate danger, but it's like, at the time when I took the assessment, I wasn't in immediate danger because I put myself in an isolated state to where I couldn't be in an encampment. And I told her, I also confronted her about that. I was like, well, I'm not going to put myself in an endangered situation. I'm like, that's like against your instincts of survival.
Right.
But it's like, with the Heal program, that they won't even come out unless you're in a huge, large encampment. But when our camp was dispersed and the cops destroyed property, like he cut up tents and everything, and basically destroying what they worked hard for so they could have a roof over their head temporarily.
Right.
But Hill never came out to that encampment. Like,
Right.
So I'm guessing Northbridge and Southbridge is filled up, and you can't go to them and put an application. They have to come out to you.
Right.
So it's like that's not helping either.
Yeah.
That they have to find you and know that you're here in order to help you if you're in a larger encampment. But they don't come out for single campers.
Right.
Even though we may be in need of help, they don't care. So I'm not sure if that's based off of discrimination or just based off of just what the program's for.
Yeah.
So, but I just know it doesn't help.
So, if you had housing right now, what do you think your next step would be? What I mean, other than working, because I already know you work. You already work living out here.
Yeah. Just keep stabilized and just keep going, and probably even start like some type of like online business, because they just keep revenue going somehow. Because I back in the past I did IT and I did web design, graphic design, all that stuff. So
you did that?
Yeah. When I was like 24, 25, I ran a vocational campus, and I took care of the IT there and all the computers, and I also taught programs and all that stuff. So I was like the lab assistant / IT.
Nice.
And I don't have the wit like that no more because of my disorder. But I would like to try to like get back into that, but I can't do that out here because of thievery, and you can't have nice stuff out here without someone trying to sneak thief you, whether it be of the homeless community or some random teenager just coming through and messing stuff up for you.
Right.
So it's not safe out here. It's like at all. It's like, and like the thing is like when the API system is, when it comes to the API system, it's like they basically, when they say immediate danger and all that, they only measure endangerment based off what the API measures: gender, race, and sexuality. And the thing is, like, I'm white, I still have a potential of being in danger because crime doesn't discriminate, and being a victim is not based off discrimination. It comes when it comes. As I said, I've been shot out here. I almost got hit with bullets.
Yeah.
People were shooting or having a gunfight somewhere, and then bullets were flying over my tent and almost hitting me. And then when I go charge my phone somewhere, it's like another time people were just like target practicing, and they didn't know where I was there, and I had bullets come over and try to hit me over there.
Right.
They're pinging off the trees, and I had to duck and run out of there.
Right.
And just a bunch of gangs just playing around with their guns and stuff. But
Yeah.
I almost got shot twice. And then like when the winter storm came, there was an ice storm that came. I'll say about a 7-inch diameter limb broke off. It was like this close to my head, falling on me. I heard it snap, and I jumped out of the way.
Yeah.
It almost killed me. So there are dangers out here, weather-wise or people-wise. But for some reason, the API now, it just wants to measure, because you're black, you're in danger. Because you're Mexican, you're in danger. Because you're homosexual, in danger. But the white person, they're not in danger, because they have white privilege and all this other bullcrap.
Right.
And it's all over their websites, and it's ridiculous. It's out in the open, but nobody's doing anything about it. I don't understand.
Right.
It's clearly being racist and discriminatory, and everybody is just letting it happen. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
So let me ask you something. So, I mean, kind of back to my last question. Do you have like you ever dream or daydream or have a happy thought of if you were in housing and you were working and that was taken care of? Is there like, sometimes when you're waiting on money or a big check in your life from something, and you're like, oh man, if I had that right now, I'd do this, or I'd go buy myself this, or I'd learn how to play the guitar, or whatever. Do you have any thoughts like that?
To me, I'm very conservative, and being out here, I've learned to be very conservative and very frugal and so
Expectations.
forth. Yeah, so like, because you have to survive the best you can with the little you have. And when I was in the Braunfels, I lived off of like $1 a day. You know what I mean? Eating out of the trash and all that stuff. So I've learned to be that way. Like if I ever got back indoors, as I said, I want to go back into learning what I used to do back in my past, the graphic design, web design, and stuff like that, and make a business out of it.
Right.
Maybe even using AI or ChatGPT or something in order to create a business. And but I can't do that here. And I just want to be able to get indoors and then just be helped with cushion a little bit, so I can get stabilized, and then from there I'm on my own. You know, I'm not
That'll
asking,
help you free
yeah,
your mind to
yeah,
think.
yeah, like also security, because there's no security here. Like,
Yeah.
you can't establish nothing. You can't do what what you have passion for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's you can try to bury something, but I mean that's not good too, because it can eventually get
Yeah.
destroyed. But I'd rather just be stabilized just enough or be helped enough to be stabilized enough, and then it's on my own. Like, I'm a responsible person for the most part, and I'm not asking somebody to break their bank for me. Just help me get in the door, and then help stabilize me for 6-7 months
Right.
while I find work, transition, get used to the lifestyle again, and then from there just keep going.
Right.
That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for them to give me the rest of my life rent. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or even set it up to where I can have lower rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know there's some people, depending on the situation and their disorders, they pay $25 a month
Yeah.
on rent. You know,
How long in Austin have you been living on the streets?
I've been living on the streets like since 2017, in the sense, like, I was in the shelter for about a year and a half, but that's still homeless in my estimation, because it's not a permanent housing situation.
Okay.
Um, but I've been in Austin since I've been here for almost 6 years. So after I left there, I've been on the streets since then.
Okay. And what was I gonna ask? When was the last time a housing case? How long has it been since a housing case manager has come out to talk to you,
Uh,
or anybody?
the last case manager was Stephanie Ortega. And that was
When?
that Stephanie Ortega. That's when she was out here doing the survey for Echo.
When they were doing the
Yeah,
pit count
yeah, and all they're
or
doing
the
was,
survey?
yeah,
as they
and
call it.
like
Okay.
a lot of people knew about their discrimination, and they didn't want to do it because it wasn't going to help them. So,
Okay.
but I only did it in order to confront them again.
Uh-huh.
I confronted them again about it, and the thing is, like, they understood, but then they just kept defending it even again at that point. So,
Right.
so I feel like they're defending it, but they're also conflicted with it at the same time. It's kind of
Right.
weird.
Right.
So I guess it's just a matter of just picking up a paycheck, even if it's discriminatory and racist.
Yeah.
So it just,
Yeah.
it's really crazy that what people are willing to do for a paycheck.
Yeah.
So
Well, man, I appreciate you, taking this time. I hope the stuff I brought, will help you out a little bit. I'm going to keep coming out and checking up on you. Is there anything else you want to say or anything?
No, I mean, other than it's nonsensical to fight racism with racism.
All right.
Everybody should love each other and be colorblind.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to get your words out to the public so everyone can see and see directly what people are going through out here and what the situations are. All right, brother?
Yeah,
All right, buddy.
I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.